Hey everybody, it's Armin. Today we're going to be doing a teardown analysis of a motor I built last year. I think it's been a little over a year now. It's on Mr. Santiago's car. That's this silver one right here. And he's been driving the thing really hard. Admittedly, he was like, oh yeah, I beat the crap out of this thing every single day. And I told him to. So this is likely going to be a warranty, but we're going to do the teardown analysis and see why it failed first. The first problem we found is that this is how much oil we drained out of it. This is a 1 gallon jug. Capacity of the 2.5 swap is just under 5 quarts, and that's just under 2 quarts. That's not good. There appears to be very minimal leakage from the oil, from the engine itself. It did start to come out from around this pulley. That seems to be common on the EcoBoosts and the Duratex. If you've seen my other videos, then I point that out usually. I'm just surprised it happened on one of these motors that I built so soon. And then the other thing is that he definitely has been beating the crap out of it, because the flywheel looks like this. So I want to thank Mr. Santiago, because you're actually using the car like I intended it to be used. You could go a little lighter on the clutch, but hey, I appreciate the enthusiasm. Okay, so we've got his old motor here. We're gonna go ahead and do sort of a kind of teardown analysis while we're also doing the build of the new one. So I'm gonna take off a bunch of stuff off of this, transfer some of it over to that one. I already did some of the exterior disassembly on that one. Nothing that you would want to see on camera anyway. It's just taking off all the BS that it comes with that we don't need. And also I cleaned out the holes to make sure no bolts get stuck, you know, like wasp nests and dirt spots that are in there. So we cleaned out all that stuff. Oh, and also the pan is off of it, and I think the balance shaft might be off of it as well, because I needed those for the core motor that we sent back around the same time for another build we just finished. He has authorized us to do a bunch of upgrades on the car while it's in here. He was already planning on bringing it in for those. We're doing my fan upgrade, we're doing my oil cooler upgrade. I've already installed the rotary Tronics gauge with the OLED screen. I think I did that like last Friday. Today is Monday. And let's see, we're doing the fluid damper as well, so I have a fluid damper over here. I think that's about it. Okay, we've got the oil pan off. You saw I got the camshafts out, I got the front cover off, etc., etc. Right off the bat, all the oil that's in here is absolute ink black, jet black. We're talking, I wonder if the oil was changed at appropriate intervals, or if it was just overused in the interval. Like if you were doing 5K, but then like the whole time it's been used as a race car, that'd be bad. Because for a street car, 5K is a normal interval. But for a race car, it is definitely not. So, this may be all the evidence right here. I'm gonna get the plate off of the oil pan and then let's take a look inside of it. Okay, I drained some of the oil out of it that was remaining, but as you see, it's not draining normally. This motor was built, I don't know, 20,000 miles ago, maybe? It was like, oh wait, no, it's been a year. Maybe 10,000 miles ago. That's some really black oil. Like that's sludge. So this thing was not given enough oil changes in the time frame that it was used. So we're gonna have to clean the absolute crap out of this. I mean, it was knocking when it came in. I don't see a reason for actually pulling the head off. That's just gonna be extra work. Not gonna prove anything there. It was unopened before. It's shown obviously that it had a rod bearing failure or a main bearing failure, but a bearing failure nonetheless. We're gonna go ahead and just move on with the next motor. I'm gonna take a small break. I'm gonna gather up all the stuff I need in order to build the motor, we'll do the timing and such. I've got Seth cleaning up a bunch of the parts so we can reassemble it. I've already written down all my buckets on my sheet for the calculator in the future. We're also gonna wash the cams, of course, because they also have the sludge in them. Let's see, and I managed to recover all of the lash caps, none of them were lost. We have all of those buckets as well. I've got the other motor off to the side, it's ready to go back as a core. So, we'll take a break. All right, we're back. I remembered I needed to test something. I 3D printed some stuff that I thought would just be kind of nifty to throw in with my my building kits. So if you buy one of the kits on the website, I was gonna start including these. This is a Duratec crank seal installer. And I hadn't gotten a chance to test it, but check it out. So it fits. It fits over the crankshaft, and then it fits on here just right to where you can just smack on it, and it'll put it in to the right depth. So now I just need to print them out of better material. Cool stuff. I also made one for the VBT seal. That one I need to make some adjustments, but then I'll throw those in my kits too. But cool stuff, right? Okay, front cover's been cleaned, pan's been cleaned. Well, it looks like the inside was clean. I need some more cleaning done on the outside. He's taking care of the cams right now. We are putting a Mad Fab perch on this, and then I have to assign Seth to pull the valve springs out of the old motor. That's a detail I forgot, so, well, I didn't forget. I was gonna use new ones and just say, hey, not worried about it. Turns out that's all the valve springs I had on hand. We're waiting on more to come in, so in the interest of time, we're gonna go ahead and pull the ones off of that motor, throw them into this thing. So also in the interest of time, while Seth gets around to doing that, I'm gonna continue doing the rest of the work on this that is, you know, not overlapping. Okay, so that's got all the valve springs out of the other motor. I went ahead and got the little keepers assembled with them so they're ready to go in. He's gonna go ahead and doing those. I'm gonna leave this to him. And then I've got the oil pan and the front cover ready to go. I am gonna replace out that crank seal on this front cover just because we doused it in brake clean. I don't wanna have compromised the seal, so I'm gonna knock it out and then put in a new one. Okay, we've finished installing the Mazda Speed valve springs. I say we. Seth takes all the credit for that. You saw him do it. So tomorrow we'll get in here, we'll throw the cams in, we'll get the lash squared away, we'll get this thing timed so we can get it back in the car. We're back and we're gonna go ahead and put the cams in with the buckets and the shims. Seth went through yesterday, and off screen, or maybe in the background, you may have seen he was cleaning the buckets because those are out of the other motor. They're still valid buckets, they just had crap on them, so they've been cleaned off. And then the lash caps, obviously we need to reuse those, so those have been cleaned as well. I'm gonna be reusing the buckets that came out of it per the list, so we can go on with our calculations. So let's get these guys in here. All right, a little bit frustrating. I realized that we had a couple of threads come out with some of those bolts when we removed the cams. So I've had this, I only had this happen once before, so I already had the thread repair stuff on hand. I only use time certs, no helicoils here, so we're gonna time cert these. Another adventure. Okay, it looks like I got a little bit lucky there. Pulled out the time cert kit, and let's see. Yeah, this little installer piece, that little guy, it's what you put your time cert on when you're gonna go and drive it in, right? So it's not a cutter. I don't know, if anything, you'd probably refer to this as a reamer. But I ran it down, and I didn't have to recut any threads, it felt like. It was very little resistance going down, if any. You just saw me do it. And as long as these things are able to torque, then maybe we don't need to do a time cert. Okay, I finished my measurements. We got all the way up to a 14 thou and as low as an 11 thou. So I'm gonna go hit the calculator, plug these numbers in, collect the new buckets, and then we'll get back to it. Okay, I got my calculations done. Actually looks like most of the buckets that were in the previous motor, and literally the buckets from the previous motor and the buckets that are in this motor, plus one bucket off a shelf, and that's it. So I already got them all right there. We're gonna go ahead and get this apart, swap those buckets in, and remeasure. Okay, we've finished with the measurements on the second round, and I'm gonna call it good. We've got 7s, 8s, and a 9 on the intake side, and we have 1 9 and 10s and 11s on the exhaust side. So that's good for me. I'm pretty satisfied with that. We're gonna go ahead and continue on with timing and assembly. Okay, we got the cams torqued, timed, got the oil pan and the front cover drying. Since we're doing a fluid damper, we have to pause here and wait for the front cover to completely dry. So it's 3:25. I'll probably go ahead and take care of that tomorrow. However, I can take care of a couple of more things. So I'm gonna go have a quick break, and then I'll come back and take care of some of the other stuff. Well, that concludes our assembly of this motor for Mr. Santiago. Again, thank you, Santiago, for allowing us to take care of you. Also for the couple of upgrades we did. So these fluid dampers I found do a big difference on these engines with the whole balance shaft removal. This gets rid of the vibrations, which is really crazy. We did, it was like 2 weeks ago, I did 2 of these side by side, one with fluid damper, one without, and it is a night and day difference driving the 2 different cars, although identical builds. You can definitely feel the difference. So I can now justify selling these to people and say it actually does something. That being said, no other notes. Everything seems to go really well. We're gonna go ahead and get the car back together now. Thanks for watching.